Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers coached the Boston Celtics. He won a championship in Boston, Massachusetts. That's where the great Bill Russell obviously played. So you don't think Doc wasn't aware as an African-American head coach, highly respected? I think he's the best coach in basketball. Said that for years, even beyond Popovich. You don't think Doc is not aware of Bill Russell's legacy in Boston? He knows everything about Bill Russell. He knows about the level of competition in Bill Russell's day. I told you earlier in the show, Wilt Chamberlain was mentally soft, physically all-time gifted, mentally soft. Bill Russell was mentally tough at about 6 feet 9 inches tall. He's about LeBron's size. In fact, he's not as strong as LeBron is, weight room strong, because obviously nobody went to the weight room, or very few did, in those days. So Bill Russell on mental toughness, on slyness, on basketball IQ, and just on savvy and skill, he took advantage of Wilt Chamberlain and beat him all but one time that they faced each other in postseason play. So my point is that that's all well and good, but Doc knows firsthand what it felt like to try to dribble the ball up the floor against Michael Jordan. It was virtually impossible. He wore you out. You couldn't get the ball past half court against him because of the assassin's mentality and the length and the strength and the cat quickness. Remember, Michael Jordan was timed once in the 40 at 4'3" at 6 feet 6 inches tall. 4'3", and he had lightning quickness. So when you put that all together with a defensive drive and mindset, and I got to read B.J. Armstrong's quote in Jackie McMullen's terrific piece on ESPN.com. B.J. said, a teammate of Jordan's and an all-star, in my mind, Michael was actually a defensive player who also happened to be exceptionally talented on offense. In many ways, he knew the game on that side of the ball defensively better than offensively, said B.J. Armstrong. I agree. I was there. I told you I covered the 98 Bulls for the Chicago Tribune during the Last Dance. And Shannon, I've told you repeatedly on this show, so I'm not second guessing. This was a first guess. Not being a hypocrite. This isn't 2020 hindsight. I told you that Bulls team led by Michael Jordan was the greatest defensive team I have ever seen. They suffocated teams. And Scottie was a very good defender, but he was not in Michael's league when it came to mental toughness, that psycho drive and killer will, which leads to one other Doc quote. He says in Jackie McMullen's piece, I've always thought players who talk trash defensively are far more devastating than the scorers who say stuff. Michael would tell you he's going to shut you down defensively and then do it. And it's just psychologically devastating that I can't do anything against this guy. He's more committed on defense than he is on offense. Most scorers don't play defense remotely the way Michael did. He won 10 scoring titles and made 9 first-team all-defenses and 1 Defensive Player of the Year. Shannon, I'm so sorry. This slams the door shut on your case for LeBron being the GOAT.
Go first, and we looked at that, and they said, be honest. And I just told them what I thought of the logo. I mean, I didn't think the logo was indicative of the Los Angeles Rams. And then a couple of days ago, they wanted us to look at the uniforms. And it was the same thing. And look, the uniforms are what the uniforms are. But let's go back to the history of the Rams. The Rams were the first team to have a logo, the horn on their helmet. And the Rams came to LA in 1946. They were the first team in Los Angeles before the Dodgers and the Lakers. And I think that horn is just so iconic with the football team. I mean, our uniforms, you think about Deacon Jones, you think about the Fearsome Foursome, you think about Jack Youngblood, Jackie Slater, all the great players we had. And it's almost you're taking away the history, of the Los Angeles Rams. And look, I understand that if they want to try the colors, I like the colors. I do like the colors. But I think the main thing, I just asked him, why would you touch the horn? I mean, why would you touch the horn? And then you asked us after the fact, and I got to get Marshall Falk was on the call, and Marshall said, he's going to ask the question, he said, like anything, any business, if someone wants to take credit, who do we look to, who do we blame for this? And there was a guy on the call, he said, well, I guess you blame me, in a sense. He said, so who did you talk? You talked to former players, current players, about the logo and the uniforms? You talk to any of those, anybody? He said, no, well, we talked to people in the office. We talked to women, which is fine, in the office, but we didn't talk to any players. I'm like, to me, that didn't make sense. Why ask us after the fact? I mean, look, I love my football team. And Skip, I want to thank you for giving me the name, the ambassador, because I love it. I stick up for that name. I take it for my fans. You know, I try to do, the fans want to hear. I mean, look, our fans are passionate about their football team, their logo. I would ask you, Skip, this is for you. What if the Cowboys took the star off the Dallas Cowboy helmet? And so please put Cowboys on there.
No good. So, Eric, I did give you that nickname because you do live and die for your Rams. So I must admit, when I read your remarks from your radio interview yesterday, I was shocked that you publicly condemned these uniforms. But I did not know that they had sought your approval. Well, but they'd already decided that it's all out of order, that you didn't really get any input. They'd already decided this is the way it's going to be. So I was shocked at how critical you were, because you still work with and for the team, and yet you weren't really consulted before they released the new uniform. So now I have sympathy for you, and I'm on your side. At first, I was shocked that you were hypercritical of this, but they didn't really ask your opinion until it was too late, right?
Exactly. I asked them when they showed them to us. I said, okay, can they change them? If we don't like them, they said, no, we're not changing them. I'm like, well, why ask us? It's just the purpose of asking. This, and if they would have asked me, this is what I would have said. Let's make this fun. Let's do this for LA. Let's bring in some of the great artists that we have in Los Angeles, and let's have a contest. Let's take the top 50, and let's go down to the top 30, the top 20, the top 10, the top 5, and the top 2 and top 1. Let's say take those artists and say, we're going to let you pick our logo. We're going to work with you to pick our logo, and we're going to give you, say, $50,000 in season tickets for life. That would have been over so great in LA with our fans. I mean, because that way the fans were in it. I mean, and you talk to the fans, they said their thing is, we like the colors, but why mess with the horn? I mean, it doesn't look like a. And I told the guy on the phone, I said, this doesn't look like a horn anymore. I mean, and it's not my time. My time in the past, and all the players that wore that horn, in the past, it's Aaron Donald's time, it's Jalen Ramsey's times, it's Robert Woods' times. It's their time. But I still think that horn was iconic. It's an iconic piece of the Los Angeles Rams football team, and now we've lost that.
AD, I'm not gonna lie. I do like the colors, and so I need you to get me an Aaron Donald jersey autograph. I appreciate that. So the problem that you have is that they tinker with the horn, because it looked like they broke the horn. It's not a single horn. It's like 2 half horns that's not connected. So if they would have just left the horn intact, bring new colors, brighter colors, you would have been okay with that. You just have a problem with the horn being a half horn, not a complete horn.
100%, Shannon. You said it. That's my problem, and I think that's the problem with all the fans. The colors I like. I do like. I like the bone. I like colors. And on the shoulder a little bit wider. The ram curve a little bit wider. But that's not my call. But the horn on the helmet, why mess with that? I just feel like that's a no-no. That was my main issue. And Skip, you said it. They didn't ask us. Let's work together. It was after the fact. You see it. I said, okay, so can they change it? No, we're not changing. Okay, so we stuck.
Well, they should have never. They shouldn't even ask you then.
Pretty much everybody on that call, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Faulk, all the guys felt pretty much the same. You know, the horn, why mess with the horn?
Man. So, Eric, while we have you, you did bring up my Cowboys. We haven't been able to get your opinion of how the Dak contract stalemate will play out. How do you see it ending? Good or bad?
Well, I'll say this much here. You know, I like Jerry Jones, you know, and I respect the Cowboys, even though I'm not a Cowboy fan. And I just feel like that when you hear the offer, and you don't know all the details of the offer's a good offer. I mean, it's a great offer, matter of fact, from a guy who was, you know, a fourth-round draft pick. And I'm not saying that because I like Dak. I think Dak can be a great quarterback. But I think that offer is a great offer. And the thing is, Skip, he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. You're going to make so much more money off the field. It's like look at Tony Romo.